Last night, the U.S. Attorney General told 60 Minutes that Washington doesn't care if you're rich or poor, friend or foe, black or white, Republican or Democrat, you get treated the same.
We do not have one rule for Republicans and another rule for Democrats. We don't have one rule for foes and another for friends. We don't have one rule for the powerful and another for the powerless, for the rich or for the poor, based on ethnicity. We have only one rule. And that one rule is that we follow the facts and the law.
That might be the biggest lie a lawyer's ever told. But why did he tell it? It's because the country knows fairness is dead. Life's not fair, I know, but we used to strive for the appearance of fairness. But you don't have to appear fair in America when Trump's involved. Today, we witnessed a financial assassination attempt. And if this succeeds, you're next. Politicians have a message for you. Businessmen, don't you dare ever run for president again. If you do, you'll get the corporate death penalty. First, they come for your freedom, and then they come for your company. After embellishing his entire resume, his whole life, Joe Biden and his Democrat attorneys are claiming Trump embellished the value of his real estate portfolio. The Biden portfolio is just a maze of shells to conceal Chinese bribes. Trump's portfolio actually has real value because he built things, unlike politicians who take things from builders and demand credit. Now, when you spend your career producing and doing things, you become a fat target for parasitic politicians who can only make money insider trading. Destroying wealth is what politicians do, and they're on a warpath against the Trump Organization. This morning, Trump was in court fighting for the survival of his real estate empire.
So very simply put, it's a witch hunt. It's a disgrace. We have a corrupt attorney general in this state. You see how she does? This trial was railroaded and fast-tracked. This trial could have been brought years ago, but they waited till I was right in the middle of my campaign. The same with other trials and indictments. It's all run by DOJ, which is corrupt in Washington.
New York Democrat Attorney General Letitia James, who campaigned on prosecuting Trump instead of crime, is accusing him of overvaluing his assets. She wants to strip him of his business license, and she wants him to pay her $250 million in damages. And the case is overseen by a Democrat judge who donates to Democrats and smiles at the camera like a sociopath at a child's birthday party. Look at that. What was that? This case has no jury and no victims.
No bank was affected, no bank was hurt. They don't even know why they have to be involved. And they've so testified. They can't believe that they're involved because they were paid back on time, there were no defaults, there were no problems, and it was like a perfect client. In the meantime, people are being murdered all over the sidewalks of New York. There was no victim here.
Apple uses slaves to build iPhones. Lucky Charms uses illegal alien child labor to box their cereal. Modeling agencies recruit bulimic teens from refugee camps and sex traffic them. But how dare the Trump Organization value a building at $100 million when New York Democrats say it's merely $50 million? I thought Democrats looked the other way when you defrauded the government. Didn't Hunter deduct escorts from his taxes? Bankrupting Trump and keeping him off the campaign trail so Biden can coast to re-election as a squeaky clean statesman, that's the play. Doesn't matter if the charges don't stick. Even today, 80% of the case was basically tossed. Today, we'll show you what next year will look like. Trump Velcroed to courtrooms, wrestling flimsy charges, while Biden claims he doesn't have a single fingerprint anywhere. Biden sent his attorney general to 60 Minutes on the eve of Trump's Manhattan trial to claim Biden has nothing to do with it.
Your critics say that it's time to ruin Mr. Trump's chances in the election.
Well, that's absolutely not true. Justice Department prosecutors are nonpartisan. They don't allow partisan considerations to play any role in their determinations.
You are not in communication with the president or any member of his administration with regard to the investigation of former President Trump.
No, I am not.
Now, if I were president and my attorney general was arresting the guy that was beating me in the polls by 10 points, you wouldn't have to say anything. The thank yous implied. Protecting democracy is code for protecting their power. If Trump wins, democracy's over. If Trump loses, they save democracy. That is until the next election, then democracy's back on the ballot. The politicians are so insecure, they know they're corrupt, they don't want you to read about their corruption now. Having a different opinion is dangerous, and Elon Musk is being warned to watch it.
What about what Elon Musk has done to Twitter, lowering guardrails against misinformation? Does that contribute to it?
Yeah, it does. Look, one of the things, as I said to you, when I thought I wasn't going to run, I was going to write a book about the changes taking place. And most of it's directed over the years with these fundamental changes in society by changing technology. Mm-hmm. Gutenberg printing in the printing press changed the way Europeans could talk to one another, all the way to today. Where do people get their news? They go on the internet. They go online. They go, and you have no notion whether it's true or not.
Biden, like all tyrants, believes the internet's as dangerous as the printing press. Now, before the printing press, the church was able to interpret the Bible to the masses. And once the Bible was accessible to individual Europeans, it triggered the Protestant Reformation. Just as today, the internet broke the corporate media control of information. Social media is ushering in a new revolution that threatens the status quo. And what does it tell you? That the President of the United States, an establishment Democrat, who's been protected by the intelligence agencies and corporate America, believes he's the victim of a vicious disinformation campaign. A politician who's been protected from IRS whistleblowers, FBI investigations, financial exposés, even protected by China, wants you to sympathize with how vulnerable he is to these bloggers on the internet. Except everything we read about Biden on the internet turns out to be true. No one's spinning this. Here, watch Biden. He says, watch me, watch.
I hope this experience for the speaker has been one of a personal revelation. I'm not being facetious. Anyway.
Biden can't talk, so he wants the court to gag Trump so he can't talk either. Biden thought arresting Trump would make Democrats love him, but instead they saw desperation. A weak prop clinging into power by any means necessary, and a man whose incompetence turned the country upside down, almost guaranteeing Trump walking back into the White House.
Someone has to convince President Biden that if he runs again, he's going to turn the country back over to Trump and go down in history as Ruth Bader Biden. The person who doesn't know when to quit and so does great damage to their party and their country. As a politician, you're naturally going to say, but the work is not finished. Of course not. It never is. But it's time to let someone else finish it. You don't want to go down as Ruth Bader Biden. America is calling, Joe, and it's saying, that's not our car, Grandpa, we're over here.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.